Here is the exact recipe I use every single week to feed my family of 4 dogs. For those of you that are new, my name is Anna. I'm a 37-year-old mom of 4, and I also have 4 Maltese who I cook for every single week. I recently went back to school to study nutritional medicine and just completed my first year. And back in January, I actually started making homemade dog food from scratch. This recipe is vet approved and it's chock full of really amazing ingredients like chicken livers, pumpkin, and lots of veggies. There's no fillers or weird additives, so you know exactly what your puppies are eating. So if you're looking for a healthier option for your dog, or you want to try your hand at making food from scratch, it's actually so much easier than what you would think. Then just keep watching. So here's everything I'm using today. I'll list all of the ingredients in the description box too, in case you want to try it for your own dogs. I'm also going to be making my own calcium supplement in the form of eggshells, which I will show you guys how to make as a little side note. I'm going to start off by making the calcium eggshells. So what I usually do is I store up, anytime we use an egg, I just store the eggshells in an empty egg container in the cupboard, and then at the end of the week I boil them all like this. So I've just put them in boiling water. I'm gonna boil these for 10 minutes to make sure that they're sterilized. And then what you also will probably need for this recipe is a slow cooker. I got mine on Amazon. I'll link it down below. This honestly has become such a lifesaver, not just for the dog food, but for making family dinners in general. I love my slow cooker. I don't know how I got by so long without it. First thing I'm gonna do is take 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. You can also use olive oil if you prefer. I kind of alternate. I usually do cook with coconut oil, but if I'm out for some reason, I'll use olive oil. And then I just use the pot that comes with the slow cooker. And coconut oil is really good for their shiny coats. They're really healthy fat. Gonna heat this up. And then when that's all melted, I'm gonna add in my chicken. This is about, I use about 1,200 grams of minced chicken. And then I'm also adding in 380 grams of chicken livers. I know it sounds gross, but organ meats are actually really healthy for all of us, not just our dogs. They're really high in vitamin A. Vitamin A is great for your eye health, your skin regeneration. Organ meats are also really high in B vitamins, which are essential for brain function, as well as copper, zinc, selenium, choline, which is great for your liver, and last but not least, iron. Eggs have been boiled for 10 minutes. I am going to take all my eggshells, and now what I'm going to do is dry them out by placing them in a preheated oven. I've preheated my oven to about 100 degrees Celsius. You want it on super low because you're not trying to cook them, you're just trying to dry them out. And I put them in just a little pan. Try and space them out so that they're not super close to each other, so that they all get completely dried out. And that's what that looks like. We're gonna pop that in the oven for about 20 minutes. You just wanna brown the meat so that it's all pretty much cooked and there's no pink left before adding the rest of the ingredients. Now that the meat's all browned, we're gonna add in the rest of the ingredients. Starting with white rice. You can do white or brown. I do 1.5 cups of this, and the dogs have woken up and are under my feet. They always know when I'm cooking their food because they all kind of huddle around me. And then I get a tin of pumpkin puree, and I do half a tin per recipe. So what I usually do is use up half, then I'll store half in the fridge for the next week. And so I get 2 goes out of 1 tin. If by any chance you can't get your hands on pumpkin, butternut squash would also be great. I've got my little weighing scales here, and I'm just plopping it in. Comes to about 210 grams or 7.5 ounces of pumpkin. That's what that looks like. Now we're gonna add in some peas. Frozen peas are just fine. I usually add in about 12 ounces or 350 grams. Same thing for green beans. Again, I use frozen. And then I'm adding in some frozen spinach. I usually add in about 200 grams or 7 ounces. Then I always add in 2 sweet potatoes. I'm gonna peel and chop these. I usually have fresh sweet potatoes in the fridge anyway, but you can use frozen if you want for this as well. You also don't have to peel them, but our little dogs are kind of fussy, so I do. Now I'm gonna chop these. I usually chop them pretty small. You are gonna be mashing this at the end, but I find that it's just easier to mash it when it's all in smaller chunks. And then I usually do about four carrots. This one is huge. I peel it first, and a lot of our dogs have no teeth, so I do what I can to try and make it more comfortable for them to eat. Again, just chopping these pretty small. Add that in. And then lastly, I always add in 4 cups of water. The amount will probably vary depending on your slow cooker. I've just realized with trial and error, 4 cups is perfect for me, and it ensures that everything gets cooked evenly, nothing burns. Now this is what everything looks like. I am going to cook that on high for about 5 to 6 hours. It also makes your house smell really yummy. Every time I make this, my husband comes in and asks, what's for dinner? And it's dog food. But it does smell really good. And I have actually tasted this, and it tastes really yummy. Obviously it's very unsalted because you don't add any seasonings. You can add turmeric if you want to, but check with your vet first. Even just other people that come to the house have commented on how good the house smells, and they're always so shocked when I tell them it's dog food. Eggshells are now done. So I'm gonna switch off the oven. They're all dried out, and I'm gonna let these cool down completely before I grind them up. The other thing you will need are some resealable bags if you want to store this in the freezer, which I recommend that you guys do. You can store this for up to 3 days, 3 or 4 days in the fridge. Otherwise it keeps for longer in the freezer. So I will make a huge batch of this. It's usually about 3 to 4 kgs worth of food. That feeds 4 of my doggies. They are small breed, they're Maltese. It feeds them for a whole week. So you'll need to get some freezer bags. I get these compostable ones. These are eco-friendly, compostable, resealable bags. These are 2.5 liters. I just fill up one of these per day, and then they get half in the morning, half in the evening. And I will show you guys how I measure these out at the end of the video. It's a few hours later, and here is what it looks like. I'm gonna switch this off. Very soft and ready to be mashed. I'm just gonna give it a good mix. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. That's the doggy's food. Does it smell nice? Yeah?
What are they?
Eggshells. No. Next step with the eggshells, sorry Dre, is this in your way? Andrea's emptying the dishwasher for me, so I'm in his way. But the next step for the eggshells is they are completely dry and cooled down now, and I'm gonna put them in the food processor.
So dry, so dry.
It's gonna get a bit noisy. And now we've got our calcium powder, which is perfect for our dog food. I'm gonna add that in now. For this batch of dog food, you're gonna need 5 teaspoons. And then I can just save the rest for next week, and I'll probably make some more and just keep adding to it. And then I'm just gonna mix this all together.
Please may you get out my little way.
I'm sorry. You wanna make sure it's evenly distributed, because again, I am gonna be sectioning this up. Not yet. Does she wanna do the taste test?
Yeah.
It's a few hours later. We've had our dinner, and this is what the dog food looks like. Looks delicious. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna mash this with a potato masher, because like I said, a lot of our dogs, 2 of them have absolutely no teeth, and then 2 have a couple left. Our oldest dog, Albie, is 16. He's in nappies, and he has no teeth and 1 eye, and he's completely blind. But I've had him since 2009. I got him when I was 21. I'm now 37, and he's still going strong. He's had some health issues, but he's always rallied back around, and I do think that the food has a lot to do with it. Here's the part when you're gonna need your maths brain, which I do not have. So you're probably gonna need a calculator. What I do now is I take my trusty little weighing scales. I take the biggest bowl that I have, which is my baking bowl, and I'm gonna weigh out exactly how much food I've got. About 3.8 kgs it's come to, which is the same as 8 pounds and 6 ounces. That divided by 7 is about 540 grams. I know you guys want to lick the bowl. There you go. I'm gonna take my trusty little freezer bags, and then this is the part that just takes a little bit longer and is a little bit more tedious. So I'll just zero the bags, and then I try and get them exact. They're never all exactly the same, but I try my best. I just keep doing this until they're all full. Then I'll put about 2 or 3 in the fridge, and the rest go in the freezer. And there you have it, guys. That is everything that I do to make my homemade dog food from scratch every single week. Here are my 7 freezer bags. They're going in the freezer and the fridge right now. I hope that this video is helpful for you guys. I will leave details of the full recipe and ingredients and everything down below in the description box, so be sure to check that out. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really helps me out. I usually post videos twice a week. My videos are not usually about dog food or dog related things, but if you like nutrition, skincare, beauty, all that kind of thing, then be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.